It's a bit too bright, but whatever. Plus, walking in front of me. We just woke up, and this is the best. Slept nearby, and going on a nice morning hike. Which I love this morning atmosphere. We're here. What's the nearest city? Oh. What's not it? This is where we slept, basically. This green town is unique. I love this. Can you see this? I love these old trees. This very special bark. Look, there's maybe some termites in there. But yeah, I'm not gonna rip everything off. I just want some splinters. Oh, look at this. Okay. So in any case, I think we're near Concarneau, Quimper, which we visited yesterday, which is a surprisingly beautiful city. Oh, my stomach is hungry. I didn't have my morning coffee yet, but frankly, I kind of want to get rid of the habit of drinking too much coffee anyways. And I'd rather wait a bit and have a beautiful espresso or café crème in one of those cute French cafes, which are everywhere basically. Beautiful moss as well. Wow. What's up, tree? Oh. We actually have a little mini beach here. You can't picture the spot. The Romans built these stone structures because a lot of the things you find in the middle of the forest. You find these bathhouses almost that they've built and now are obviously not operational anymore, but they're in remarkably pristine condition, I would say. So that's beautiful. Crazy how the Roman Empire was so far extending, so successful in a way, but also brutal in many others. And then how it came crumbling down is fascinating as well at some point, because of similar problems we have now. Too much bureaucracy just became too big to manage. Wow, I love this. That's so cool. Can you see this? And these woods are just so old. That's what I love most. The trees. When you look at them, sometimes you see hundreds of years of history. Maybe even more. It does show. I sometimes wonder, because the forest looks so beautiful, it's like because forest requires some upkeep. Who's doing that? Who's cutting down the old trees? I don't know. Because the forest, left on its own devices, is basically just becoming a jungle, more or less. So in any case, that's the stuff I like to think about. Look at this nice bridge. What is Lisa doing? She's trying to break in to her private property. Look at this terme roman. Is it impossible? Oh, what's that? Was das für ein Place? Was ist es? Oder was war das mal?
Ich weiß auch nicht, was das war. Aber das sieht auch uralt aus. Ich glaube, es hat zu der römischen Anlage.
So yeah, this looks like an old cave or something built by the Romans. And now we're going to go to the Roman bath house, basically. Oh, wow. We randomly found a crazy castle, which I hope you can see. It's kind of overexposed here. It's insane. Yeah, I would say the Roman Empire. I would need to make more reading on it. I mean, we all know about Caesar, but what about the other emperors who were less capable? I think Nero. I think Marcus Aurelius was also a Roman emperor, right? And he was a good one, but there were other ones who weren't as good. And I think eventually nepotism and corruption brought to its end. There are some other theories, and obviously it's very hard to keep all the nations you subjugated violently at peace and requiring them to pay a hefty sum to your lord. But there's also sometimes this phrase gets thrown around. Hard times create hard men create good times create soft men create bad times and hard times, and then the cycle continues and recommences basically. And some people would argue that right now we're in the phase of weak, soft men, and that this will inevitably lead to hard times coming soon again, which then inevitably maybe leads to hard men coming up again. I don't know. I don't really subscribe to that theory, but many men say, some people say that the Roman Empire failed because it was just too soft and too much self-obsessive, and it lost its edge or whatever. Hard to say. Oh, look at these trees back there. Les Thermes et la villa du Perronneau constituent un ensemble antique conservé unique dans la cité de Ozizmez et en Bretagne. Le bâtiment thermal, situé sur la rive ouest du fleuve, était relié par une voie régulièrement située. Cette implantation en est remontée un certain nombre de mètres du domaine par rapport au paysage et au capotage antique, situé à mi-parcours entre l'embouchure du mélodier de Quimper antique Aquilonia. Ces vestiges font partie de la quinzaine de sites archéologiques romains, villas bois romains. Okay. So, is this where we are right now? This is the villa we've seen, possibly? This tree is insane, right? Look at that unit of a tree. How old is it, do you think? Wow. Wow. This thing is impressive. Wow. This looks like a big end from Lord of the Rings. Thermal Interface. De plaisir le vin romain sur le principe de l'ancien langage sportif pour sortir de sentir. Crazy. So they basically had a hot and cold chamber as well. So I didn't really know that. So it's very similar to what a spa looks like nowadays. The rich Romans basically had these built, and there was like a cold part and there was a warm part which was heated up to 20 to 25 degrees. And a part that even was 50 to 60 degrees, which is like a really hot place. I think that's probably 4A. No, that's number 6. Pièce de service. No, that's number 4. That's the really hot part. And it was due to like an oven. It was basically man-made. There was like some person using firewood, some servant probably, and this made parts of the bath very hot. They really were living the good life. Well, actually, we are in one of those very authentic bathhouses. Look at this cool thing. This is basically a bathhouse. A bathhouse that's with an amazing view over the sea or the lake, which goes into the sea. This is crazy. basically the oven that was used to put the fire in. And they probably had different stairs back then. And these were the different pools, basically. I think, yeah, one of them for sure was like a cold plunge, you could say, similar to what we do now in spas. And then here we have like a hot one, and I think the small one back there was the hot one. Verrückt, oder? Ja. Okay. Ja. 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 Ah, okay. Yeah. Crazy. So Lasse just explained to me that they had very advanced technology. Basically they had a lower floor which just started where the back here where you can see the structure, and so the hot air was able to flow underneath and heat up everything. So this is how basically they had their heated up floors. So yeah, they had crazy advanced technology. Basically you had a person, maybe a servant, who put in the who heated up this oven with like firewood or whatever, and then the hot air would go in here in the heated up room, which basically the hot air was dissipating through these vents, almost these air vents, and you had a second floor down there, because you might be able to see here there's like a gap, and this is where the second floor was placed, and the air could dissipate in here and make the water really hot. And this is how you could have 50 to 60 degrees in this place and maybe 30 to 40 degrees in this warmed up place, with really advanced technology. And this one as well. And finally, in the beginning they had like a cold shower, like a cold plunge, which is very similar to this, just a normal room with water, which isn't heated specifically. So yeah, pretty crazy that they had spas that looked very similar to what we do now. The Romans really knew how to live. They had like a total cold plunge with different, or like a total bathhouse. Very similar to, this is basically what this thing that we're just looking at looks like. You can see here the venting systems. This is this hidden layer underneath the actual bathhouse, which makes it warm. And this is filled with water, very hot as well. And or maybe this is actually the cold one, probably. And this is all warmed up water. You'll probably have water in here. I don't know why there's no water in the picture. Whatever. Okay. So there's a grotto in there, even too, and the seagull cliff there. remnant. Crazy how this is still here. Look at this moon. Really cool, I love it. Okay. Unfortunately, it's hidden, it's closed. But this once was a military-style bunker too. I wonder why it was closed off. Would be super interesting to look into it, to have a glance into it. But it's very much closed off. Crazy stuff. Wow. Look inside. It's depressing. And all this wood. Crazy. There's another one up here. Another fortification up there. Look at all these rabbit holes. It's crazy. There's so many in here. So many rabbit holes. So many rabbit holes everywhere. And you can see like the rabbit poo everywhere on the floor here. missed the rabbits. I mean, she kind of saw them, but they're really small, cute. And we've seen so many rabbit holes before, and she wanted to see some rabbits again. And yeah, I'm glad I saw them jumping around. They're more night active at night, it seems. But yeah, this hike is so beautiful right now. The sun just came out.
Die Farben vom Wein, ist so schön.
Yeah, the wheat has a beautiful color. Would you agree? Some old farmhouses back there, which are beautiful as well. Wow. Stone houses are awesome. Okay, that's our way. on myself. Some spiders on me. Some spiders on me. This looks cool. Cool and weird. Oh, some birdie. So das war's hier. Ah. Ja, stimmt. What's up? Interessant, dass ich ein Rupfgeräusch von Rupf.
Die Dünne kann man rupfen.
Ja. Ciao. I think they might be cultivating huîtres, those seashell, seafood clams. I think they might be doing clam. Oyster? Maybe oyster is the right word. Oyster cultivation. It's possible. It's possible. Comes out again. Cute. If they're kind of stuck or if they can actually drive around, because water looks quite stale and muddy, but this place is beautiful. We haven't seen one person crossing our path, maybe one person. Disadvantage is, however, there's tons of spider webs, which I don't really mind as long as there's no big spider attached to the spider net that is in my face. You can see hear the noise from the city, the small village. There's no big city nearby. Biggest city nearby is probably still Karnak. Probably we're gonna go to another city called Concarneau. All these cities have a bit unusual names. It's probably because they stem from Bretonian, and sometimes, or actually oftentimes, you see the signs, the street signs in Bretonian, and it looks very different. It sounds like, I don't know, like kind of like Icelandic or something. But I like it. It's cool. I don't think a lot of people still speak it though. This language. So basically what you see here is not a lake, it goes straight into the ocean if I'm not mistaken. So it's kind of like what the Norwegians would call a fjord. There's some cows hanging out there if you can see them. I think they have a pretty good life here, frankly. And if you can see the clouds, to be honest, I love weather like this for walking. It's ideal. Much better than pure sun. I just notice how much I do enjoy wind and rain from time to time. And this is really very much the weather here. Similar to Ireland. Prefer it exponentially more than, let's say, the hot weather of southern Greece or southern Italy or even southern France. Yeah, you gotta say, France is a beautiful country, both in its richness of history, of culture, of landscapes, of language, and of cuisine, of course. So it's easy to become jealous of this, and I think they have a good taste in general, I would say. A good sense of aesthetic, which is showcased by their dominance in luxury fashion, but also in high-end cuisine. They have a good taste for architecture that's beautiful, and I think they do want to preserve what's beautiful, so I have high hopes for that staying this way. And they haven't really, I think, fallen victim to this idea of brutalism, of rebuilding stuff in as ugly as possible way. They have an eye and an appreciation for beauty, which I do like very much, which you can't really say is true as well for Germany, let's say, or even more Scandinavian countries, which sometimes seem to prioritize functionality over beauty and elegance. And by the way, which doesn't mean that, let's say, I like it. Bird. What I wanted to say is French women don't necessarily dress up like in a fashion show. They actually have a more modest style, generally speaking. I think that's not a bad thing at all. they kind of emancipated themselves from this need to wear high heels. And if you're into that, well, the first people we meet, you probably gotta go to Russia or to Czech Republic or something, or Ukraine, if you want to see women like that. Similar in Germany and Switzerland too, I would say. But it's kind of rare to see like the Kim Kardashian heavy makeup women. But they still have a cool fashion style, and the men as well, I think. They do have a bit, they just smell a bit better, and they have like a good keen sense for cool fashion. Okay. I think it was actually nice during COVID times that there has been less flights. That means less noise pollution, less air pollution, less stripes in the sky, as we say. And yeah, I mean, I'm grateful for airplanes existing, but do we really need to fly as much as we do? I don't know. There's studies basically proving that, I don't know, a big chunk of flights is being done by frequent travelers, like some CEOs or some managers or rich people going to different places all the time, which frankly contribute the most for air pollution, even more so if they have private planes. So I find it quite hilarious that people like Leo DiCaprio go on about climate change and saving the climate, while at the same time hanging out on some yacht and banging some young top models and probably flying around with a private plane. I mean, it's kind of a typical thing, I would say. Like 80% of pollution in the world is being done by the top 50 biggest corporations or something. So instead of telling people they should stop eating an avocado or should change to non-plastic straws, we should start there and have people pay for these externalities, because up until today you could exploit the environment and profit off of it, take natural resources like water, destroy the ground, destroy the animals, cut down trees, sell them. You could just take whatever you would find. And I think it's a good thing that we now start to regulate it more. I don't know if it's too late, to be honest. And I'm not even one of those super pessimistic people who say we just gotta... There's some people apparently in Germany who say we have to keep the lockdown as is, the corona lockdown, and we have to make it a climate lockdown. So in order to protect the climate, we have to encage people in their homes. Which is kind of crazy, right? I mean, it's not very healthy. And it's these kind of totalitarian ideas are dangerous, I think, because they basically stem from a place of wanting to control people, control every aspect of their lives. Basically, this kind of feeling of moral superiority that nations like Germany, unfortunately, seem to have a faiblesse for, a weakness for, which I'm not for. Oh, there's a few cars now. And there's our bus to the left. Our reek, our stinker, as we call it. It doesn't smell that bad. But it's a cool car. Actually, it's a panda car. Because as you can see, one of the side mirrors wasn't really... was kind of loose, so the garage only had a black one, and having it painted white would have cost like, I don't know, $200. So we said no, black is fine. And we kind of lost some of our rims off the wheels, so they're black now, so it kind of does look like a panda in many instances. So That was our beautiful hike. There's some people down there. Cool. We just walked through the forest and saw this pool, which we suspect that maybe the Romans built this here, and it's completely forgotten, but it would be super awesome to use this during a hot summer day. It still looks pretty good, like the structure still is functioning, and there's a small stream of water coming down here, so you could technically clean this up and then you would have a pretty nice bathhouse. And funny enough, here's like, it's totally like green, but maybe this was another bath. And there are a lot of structures and walls here which kind of look like people built it maybe tens or hundreds of years ago, and it was just lost. Interesting, right? So what's up there? So yeah, it must have been pretty cool to take a bath here. What's she doing? You're cleaning up the river now. She's going crazy. She's digging it up with her hands. Jetzt soll ich lieber irgendwie einen Stock nehmen oder so? Damit du deine Hände dreckig machst.
Der hat mir nicht schon cool. Du müsst alles putzen bis unten. Würde ich so gerne machen. Vielleicht kann ich das irgendwann mal machen, alles putzen.
Aha. Kommt da genug Wasser raus hier? Wahrscheinlich, wenn es mehr regnet, gell?
Wenn es regnet, ja.
Alright. Jetzt sind wir weiter.
Darf ich da mal alles putzen?
Ja.
Wenn wir nicht mal in die Bretagne kommen?
Erst unsere Wohnung putzen und dann She wants to clean everything. I didn't tell her that she has to. It does look pretty mystical. Kind of like from a Miyazaki film or something. If you would use your imagination. What is this? It's a pretty intricate system. Just wonder who built it.
Das ist eine Karte. Wir sind da.
Ja.
Und das sind alles verschiedene Bäume, die so so gepflanzt haben. Zum Beispiel die speziellen da, mit der speziellen Rinde, das sind Sequoia. Und die da hinten, die riesigen, das sind Linden. Da ist eine Karte, mit was welcher Baum wo ist. Mein Plan wäre da dann so durchlaufen. Und wenn wir zurückkommen, dann könnten wir vielleicht so noch so durchlaufen.
Okay. Schön. Schöne Bäume, was die sind. Some huge trees up here.
Und die Linden da sind riesig. Die sind uralt. So schön. Das siehst du selten, so große Linden.
Richtig rot, die Bäume.
Die sind aber, glaube ich, so amerikanisch.
Yeah, they almost look like American trees in like Yellowstone Park or... What's the name again? Oh, she's hugging trees again. What's the name again? This park in Yellowstone. Sequoia? Like in California, there's this park near Yosemite where there are these giant trees that you can drive underneath with a car. Yeah, I think these trees do look interesting. Honestly, they do look somewhat... I love these sounds. So nice. This insurance time. This small church. These houses there. I wonder if I can enter it, but probably not. It's closed. They smell good. They smell good. I love this small chapel. These trees are beautiful. Okay. Oof. This looks interesting. A tree fell down here. I think back there they're cultivating oysters again, I guess. There might be some animals down here. I don't know. I love these trees.